Hello, everybody. I'm Richard Miller for CamVets Media. This is a CamVets Media basketball report. I am Richard Miller. We represent cadets, midshipmen, and the military. We've been doing that since 2008, and this is CamVets Media College Basketball Report. We start off with Iona basketball. Iona basketball tomorrow will be taking on Fairfield. Iona this year so far is currently in their third season under Rick Pitino. They are 10-4, most recently in their game. As we get to the as we get to actually what's happening in their game. Let's see. As we go to the full schedule. No, first off we have to go to the schedule, and let's see sports, athletics. Let's see basketball. I'm looking for it again. Okay, we will get to basketball as we. Okay, here it is. Iona. Iona's basketball schedule so far this year. They are Iona is 11-5 on the season overall, 5-0 at home in their arena. They most recently came off a loss this past Sunday to Quinnipiac, 81-58, and actually in a game at the Hampton Center in Connecticut, the M&T Bank Arena. We look at the looking at the box score in the game for the Iona Gales. They were led by Denise Jenkins with 17 points. Cruz Davis had 13 points. Nellie Jr. Joseph had 10 points. It was not enough for Iona as they ended up losing that game. It was their first loss. The team first loss of 2023 for the Gales. They had currently had been on a winning streak of recently winning their last four in a row. Their last loss was to SMU back on December 22nd, losing 85 to 81 in this game, and especially especially going back into this game as we are, as you know, I'm just getting everything up and rolling here on my everything up and rolling here on my iPad, especially in that game. If you look at definitely Iona failed in that game. Quinnipiac got out to the first 9 points of the contest, really kept it going, and I think definitely cruise control from there. Iona made it back to a 3-point game early, but the Bobcats definitely responded with more of a with more of an up-tempo play, responded with 12 straight points and earning a 22-7 advantage. Just over definitely 4 minutes later, Iona was definitely stung mightily. Iona would not hit a shot from the field. Jenkins, all 5 field goals, and then Cruz Davis jumper added just in the 4 minutes remaining in the frame. The Gale shooting was quite off the mark on this night, only going 8 of 14 by that point and trailing by 14 at the break. Over even more than likely, the first 9 minutes of the first half, Quinnipiac got on a bigger run, and the Gale shooting was very much off the night. Jenkins, 15 of his 17 points were only in the first half. Only got two of the 2 points in the second half. He was pretty much off for also on that night. Anton Brookshire scored a career high 14 points, including 11 in the final 10 minutes of the contest. Also matched his career best with also adding 4 rebounds. Cruz Davis scored 13 points with 3 assists and 2 rebounds. He is averaging 14.5 points in Iona's 2 games this week in 2 Iona games this weekend. Let's see, Nellie Jr. Joseph, and it is continuing really his strong play with 4 double doubles, 10 points and 10 boards. Also, let's see, who did they also play? Friday they defeated Marist, but their last game this week they have Fairfield coming up, and also Ryder on Fairfield and Ryder will be coming up on Fairfield and Ryder will be coming up this weekend. One tomorrow night in Newer Show, and then Friday, both games actually home games at Newer Show. So this was this was Iona's first loss of the season. But Vic Pitino's squad is so far 11-5 on the year and 4-1 in the conference overall, and have been undefeated at home during the season. So this will be this will be a nice test to see if they are going to be able to bounce back. Looking at the looking right now at the max standings for for men's basketball. More recently, it is Siena on top. Siena's been red hot and winning 6 in a row. Conference record 3-1. No, wait, that's another conference. Let's see. Yeah, Metro Atlantic. Siena has won their last 6 in a row. Iona lost their game too. Iona recently lost their game. Niagara is is 2 games behind them overall, but in the conference, Iona's Iona's lost only one in the conference, 5-0 at home. So things are pretty looking good so far for Vic Pitino squad. Army Army, meanwhile, recently just came off a game themselves against who did Army play? The Army, Army Black Knights, the Army men's basketball team. Army defeated American, and in that game, Army men's. As we look at Army men's basketball, we look at we look at their schedule. Men's basketball. Let's see on their schedule, they defeated American University 70-62 behind also a game, and it's actually they handed American their first conference loss in that game. In that game, actually, it was like Ethan Roberts was a real key contributor to the team, scoring 20 points, 5 of 8 shooting, including 2 threes and grabbing also 4 rebounds. Army got off to a 10-7 start behind a very strong, important play from Charlie Pearson, who posted quick shots in the first 4 minutes of action. Army then extended their lead a little bit later when Isaiah Cadwell and Roberts hit then consecutive shots on consecutive possessions. Several minutes later, Roberts connected again, and Army just continued to right from there on out, pour it on. Army took a 32-19 lead into the break. Second half, I think what was a real important thing was Roberts, converting again on a 3-point play. Army pushing its lead out to 20 behind consecutive buckets. Pearson has now scored 10 plus in 6 straight games with a career high of having also 19 points. Army really controlled most of their game, I think, in the second half, starting a mini run by American, bringing the game to with 11 points within 2 minutes to play. But Army definitely, one thing that really played into the game was especially going to the foul line. Going 5 of 5 shooting to widen the margin, and ended up winning by 12 by a score of 70 to winning by a score of 70 to 60. 72 to 60 ended up being the score, and it ended up being the score in that game. Let's see if we have any. Let's see if we do have any. If we do have any, if we do actually have, if you will. Oh, wait. I still on? Yes, I actually am. I actually am still on. If you have any, you have any questions for me, I really feel like I'm looking at the early standings, especially I think a play of Iona, the Iona basketball, which last year as we all know in the as we all actually know in the previous season, fell in the Iona in the previous season fell to in the MAC no in the NIT tournament in Dayton from the Dayton Beach bracket 79-74 at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. The Florida Gators won that game 79-74. So far, so far this year on the year for Iona, Iona has uh, Iona has only suffered back-to-back losses to New Mexico December 18th and also December 22nd to Southern Methodist University in the Diamond Head Classic. So Army's event, Iona's next couple of games coming up: Fairfield, Ryder, Manhattan. Two road games, one at Siena, Quinnipiac, and then also Mount St. Mary. So those games are basically also coming up on the Iona schedule. So those will, I think, definitely be very important games for how the remainder of the season plays out, and maybe I think the remainder of the remainder of how how the remainder of the entire year will be playing out. Let's see, as we most recently go into now, let's say NCAA men. Let's go into most recently right now the team's ranking. Houston's on top with a 16-1 record, followed by Kansas number 2, 14-1. Top 25, Purdue. Purdue was recently, I think, gone down 2 spots. Alabama is 13-2. Tennessee, the Yukon men. Teams you always have to watch for. You have to watch for a team like definitely Gonzaga, a team a couple years ago that made that great fantastic run that made that fantastic run to the Final Four, and by the way lost to and by the way actually lost to who did they ended up also losing it. They ended up losing in the Final Four for that championship game. Let's see, it was 2021. Gonzaga Gonzaga lost in that final 2021. They ended up losing to I think they ended up losing to Baylor. Yeah, I think they ended up I think losing to Baylor Baylor in the championship game 86-70 by 16 points to deny them, to even denying them, a perfect season. So so they will still definitely be a team that has got to be reckoned with. Couple of things to also consider: the Kansas Jayhawks 14-1. Purdue Boilermakers. We hear a lot about Purdue when it comes to football, but hey, who knows absolutely about what could happen with their basketball program. They are first in the Big Ten. They are so far on the season 15-1, getting out to a very strong start. Let's see. That's a team that was a team that definitely that was a team that lost by the way in the that lost in the NCAA tournament to Iowa last year. Let's also take a look at also what's going on with let's take a look at the college basketball standings. Let's also take a look at that if we as we shall. Let's see, all conferences. Let's go over to the Big East. Have to watch out for the Providence Friars. Providence Friars are 14-3 and a hot team. The Big East has 2 hot teams this year. Is definitely one team that is very much disappointing. Is Patrick Ewing actually going to be on the hot team in Georgetown? Georgetown is 5-13, and they are in the basement at 5-13. Providence Friars, number one, 14-3 on the season. Xavier Musketeers, number 12, are also 14-3. The number 25 Marquette Golden Eagles, 25th in the country. They they are actually currently 14-4 on the season. You can't even also forget about the Yukon Huskies. I think you also are needing to watch out for a team, like the Yukon Huskies, a team that will definitely, most certainly, needing to be a team, needing a team that's going to be possibly in their ranking. Let's see. Yeah, yesterday. Oh wait, they'll play. Yukon is definitely playing St. John's. That is a team coached by Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley, who went to Seton Hall from 1991 to 1996. And we'll be looking to see how he I think is going to be thriving. He is going to be thriving in the early going of the season. What did also, let's see, Iona basketball has eventually a couple of games coming up. Let's see, I told you about Iona taking on Fairfield. They're going to be taking on Ryder this week. They're going to be taking on Manhattan on January 20th. So those will definitely, I think, be a couple of games where eventually this entire season might very well, who knows if they might actually step up. It does, I think, definitely look in some way like they could be a team. Might be. I mean, I'm not like saying, but might be. They could. This is a team that might be. I think they could be. Maybe in a way, they might be actually. Who knows, on the rise. That looks like, I think, like a team that might very well could end up being a consistent team. College basketball, as we're talking, Cam Betts Media. This is the Cam Betts Media basketball huddle for January 12th, Thursday, right here, coming on right now. Games tonight. You've got Minnesota 6-8, 37-35 at halftime, leading Ohio State by 2. Drexel is trailing Stony Brook. Stony Brook is 6-10 on the season, taking on Drexel 9-7, 14-5. Stony Brook leads. Old Dominion 10-6 defeating Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina is 7-8 on the season. You also got Stenson 9-6, leading Bellamore at halftime, 40-19. Georgia Southern 10-7 is tied at halftime with Appalachia State at 33. Halftime right now, 37-35. Ohio State in Minnesota. Minnesota is 6-8, while Ohio State is 10-5. Let's go into some. Let's actually go into some college basketball headlines while we were at it. College basketball headlines. Let's see. It says the NCAA. It says here the NCAA will be okaying approves recommendations for Division I reform. Now, what will this mean? The NCAA Board of Directors approved a host of recommendations Thursday to reform the top-tier college sports membership standards and the size of the championship brackets. The Division I Transformation Committee made its final public ruling last week, and the board approved of the new NCAA convention in San Antonio. It's looking like it's saying there was definitely a report that there was an NCAA group that did propose a 90 tournament college basketball tournament. The report called for more sports by sports governance. So I guess more sport by sport governance. That could really mean maybe I think more more tournament game, maybe more teams playing in tournaments. Transformation committee of co-chairs Greg Sankey, Commissioner of the SEC Conference, and Julie Cormer, Ohio State University Athletic Director, reiterated in a joint statement, work of chancellor Division One will continue beyond, also even beyond the committee's work. The committee has also recommended allowing 25% of sports sponsored by at least 200 schools to compete in annual championship events. That opens the door for possible expansion of the popular March Madness basketball tournaments from 68 to as so many as possible. Maybe, even possibly 90 teams, possibly even expanding it further. So hey, if there's possibly, I think if there's more expansion in the tournament, hey, why go for it? The more teams, the bigger the field. The one thing also, where would also the if there's going to be expansion, well, are they also going to get the other site to play these games? Are some of these sites going to be played at games like let's see, are some of these sites going to be played at games like at their campus, or are they going to really like even maybe expand it further? Who really knows? Who really I think knows? Who really knows? The committee recommended allowing 25% of teams in sports, at least 200 schools to compete per in these annual championship events. And also let's see. Oh, and also this week, by the way, South Carolina defeated Kentucky for the first time at Rupp Arena since 2009. How about this? Machie Johnson was a very hot player. He hit 6 3-pointers from Cleveland, Ohio, a junior from Cleveland, Ohio. The win was just the third for the South Carolina Gamecocks, 31 games at Kentucky, and the first at Rupp Arena since June 2009. Kentucky had a 28 SEC game home winning streak. Almost shocked. Kentucky has definitely been very much struggling this year. They are off to its worst starts in Southeastern Conference play. They are since 86-87, which, by the way, actually, how about also this? A fan, which you don't necessarily, I think, like to see. Unfortunately, there was a spectator from Rupp Arena during the first half of Kentucky's loss to South Carolina this past Tuesday, held up a sign saying, please go to Texas. Who's he referring that to? He's referring to that to Hall of Fame coach John Calipari. You shouldn't you really be going to these events to maybe having a good time and whatnot? Shouldn't you be really, I think, going to these events and you need to have a good time and everything, but to just really, I think, to maybe even spoil it for maybe some people is absolutely, I think it is unacceptable. You don't want any placement. I really don't think it is in fact it it's basically classless. It's basically classless. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. It's unnecessary. Kentucky, coming off of, remember, a loss to Alabama. It's just absolutely completely frustrating when it only takes a few, something as even maybe even a few bad apples that really, or maybe even spoiling even the event. Navy, by the way, lost to Lafayette yesterday. Eddie Childs, the head coach of Navy. Navy is a game under 500 this season at 8, and they're in a slump. As the calendar turns to 2023, Navy has now lost 4 in a row to Holy Cross, Colgate, Lehigh, and now last night they lose to Lafayette. So the Navy midshipmen have really gone, into a tailspin, absolutely, losing their last four in a row. They've got to clean it up very soon if they want to make any any hay. It looks like a long road there. Thank you for listening to Canvas Media Basketball Report here. We represent cadets, midshipmen, and the military. Doing that since 2008. I'm Richard Miller. Have a very nice evening, everyone. So long.